Just hold it tight.
We're strapping in for a journey to the future.
Wow.
Here among the treetops in Western Sydney, distinguished Professor Belinda Medlyn is getting a preview of what forests could look like in the year 2050.
Humans emit a lot of carbon each year, but about 25% of that at the moment is taken up by forests.
But will forests continue to soak up our increasing emissions, and what impact will all that carbon have? This giant experiment at the Hawkesbury Institute for the Environment at Western Sydney University is trying to find the answers. Elevated levels of carbon dioxide have been pumped into this native eucalyptus forest for more than a decade. The result, published in Nature, shows the trees took in about 12% more carbon, but they didn't grow any faster. Instead, the extra carbon was quickly cycled through the soil and then released into the atmosphere. That means forests may not provide the salvation many have hoped they would.
And so one of the key uncertainties around trying to predict where the future course of temperatures might head is actually knowing how long we've got a forest carbon sink for.
Professor Medlyn is a theoretical ecologist who studies the impacts of climate change on plants. The data she obtains from experiments such as this one is integrated into mathematical models used to predict global environments.
A forest is photosynthesizing, it's respiring, it's taking up nutrients, it's using water. You can measure all of those different processes and understand how they're regulated by the environment. And using all of that information, you can bring it together to make some predictions about how fast the forest might grow, how much water it will use at forest scale, how it might change over time.
Professor Medlyn studied maths at university and soon found herself working as a merchant banker. By her own account, it was a job she hated.
And the wonderful thing about maths, the really important thing about maths is that there's maths everywhere. So if you've got a maths degree, you can actually work in pretty much any field that you want.
After returning to university to complete a PhD in theoretical biology, Professor Medlyn embarked on a career at the intersection of experimentation and modelling. Her research has shown how complex models can best incorporate experimental data and also the kind of data needed to support model development. It's a career that has now seen her elected a Fellow of the Australian Academy of Science. But predicting the future can be confronting. It's clear that Professor Medlyn worries deeply about our changing environment.
It's a really weird experience to be a scientist and to be watching something that you think is really important decline and disappear. And to try and argue as much as you can, we need to do something about this, and then, people question it and are skeptical, and it's like, we've always had floods, we've always had fires, what's the problem? But when you're studying it and seeing what the changes are and thinking about what the implications are and, where we're headed in 10, 20 years and thinking, you just can't spend too much time thinking about it as a scientist, otherwise it does get to you.